What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year. Welcome into 104.3 The Fans Postgame Live. DMac, Rachel Veal hanging out with you. It always stings a little bit more when it feels like there's hope, and there hasn't been hope in Broncos country for a while now. And this one, the Broncos came so close to getting it done. But one call in particular, DMac, that we'll get into here in a little bit, feels like it just kind of sucked away the energy that the Broncos have. But they lose to the Chiefs 27-24. But we saw a team, DMac, that we haven't seen really all year. What was your main takeaway?
Well, the offensive pass interference call on Courtland Sutton was ridiculous. That was an incredible play. It was the right time to take a shot down the field.
Yep.
Sutton does what he has been known to do the best, and that is just regular hand fighting. That is just stuff that goes on when in the NFL. I am beside myself how terrible a call that was, and it really did turn the momentum of the game. You can't give the ball away to the Chiefs, and you got to get the plays that you need to happen for you. They're just too good. And look at what the Broncos actually did with all the 3 and outs they put on the Chiefs in the beginning of that second half. I mean, just really fantastic. You cannot listen, Rachel. The Chiefs scored 27 points a game against everybody.
Yep.
So, okay, you just got to go into the game expecting it. And that's what they got. They got 27 points. But that game wasn't over. The Broncos had a shot. They're down 10, and they rally back. Good for them. It's probably about as big of a moral victory as you're going to find. And I think you should walk away with some positive vibes for this game. I mean, Russell Wilson with 2 rushing touchdowns, and he becomes one of the leading rushers and of quarterbacks in NFL history. Rachel, he's got to be able to do that under center all the time. They were dedicated to running the ball, sort of. I mean, 24 carries for $117.
Yeah.
You know what they were doing, Rachel? Instead of like running plays, they were just making some really safe passes. So kind of like virtual running plays. Of the 36 attempts, 38 attempts, they weren't really trying to go down the field all that much, but it was working. That's why the turnover in the first half was so frustrating, because all you needed was another handoff and get that field goal, tie, put yourself in a good position, and they gave that away. So it wasn't a flawless game, but I mean that was a really back and forth competitive game on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll be really surprised if Broncos fans aren't pleased with that one.
No, and what I'm seeing out of the comments is a lot of people are obviously upset with the refs and that offensive pass interference calls, which I feel like both you and I were on the same page. That was a weaker call in my opinion. But what's usually funny when it comes down to these moral victories, you see teams that didn't really come up to show up and play this team. But I feel like the Chiefs actually did show up to play the team, but the Broncos just played them so well, which is another reason why these kind of losses always sting a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought the effort from the Broncos was great. They didn't get to Patrick Mahomes. 0 sacks, Rachel. Yeah. Russell was sacked 4 times, and I got to look at how many times he was hit, Rachel, because holy cow.
Time and time again, DMac.
He got hit 8 times, and they credited 3 quarterback hits on Patrick Mahomes. But you didn't have Baron Browning. You didn't have Randy Gregory. You didn't have DJ Jones, and you survived Patrick Mahomes. You kept Patrick Mahomes to the mean. Now he scored. I mean, he put up 300 yards, but he only had 80-something yards in the second half. Yeah. This game could have easily got away from the Broncos, and it didn't. You had the ball in your hand with a chance to tie it, or win it. And you had it. You had the ball in your hand, and you couldn't quite break through. Not quite.
But there was still a lot of good things to take away. But I also think that we learned a little bit that maybe Hackett was stubborn in his ways. And, if they would have made some changes, who knows what could have happened there too.
Well, Rachel, they just time after time conceded to Russ. And Hackett was just Russell Wilson's best friend. And then when that wasn't working, they went to Clint Kubiak, who was the quarterback's coach, who what I assume is Russell Wilson's second best friend. And the adjustment that they made was to Justin Allen. And Justin Allen is the running game coordinator and you saw the significant difference. You did. You saw Russ undersend a lot more play action. You saw them move Russ side to side, get him going a little bit. And Russell Wilson made some really nice plays in this game. Really, really nice plays. Yeah, go ahead.
Does it make you believe that Russ can still cook?
No. Of course
not at all. Really, DMac? I feel
no. He's a slightly better version of Tim Tebow, meaning he is a better passer than Tim Tebow. But he and we're what are we talking about here, Rachel? We want a guy in his mid-30s going towards his late 30s to be scrambling around and running around like he did today, being blasted a ton of times. Look how many hits he took, Rach.
But DMac, that's exactly what you said, though, is how many times did he get hit? How many times was he scrambling because he had no protection up front? Yes, I'm sure it all plays cohesively, but there's a lot of times that O-line man just didn't give him any shot.
Hey, I get it. Billy Turner, he's gone. You lost Dalton Reisner. He's probably gone. He's in. I think it's his elbow. It's his shoulder. It's a this. It's a that. It's the other thing. I mean, hey.
Actually, one thing on Dalton Reisner, this is my social media frenzy, okay? His wife actually put out a TikTok, DMac, about how they're going to be looking for, like, new houses.
No way. Did she really?
Yeah, she did. I was like, okay, so are you not wanting to come back, or? I don't know, man.
He's probably gone. But listen, I don't know, man. It's not like guards are easy to find, Rachel. And it's not like he's like that bad. I think what the Broncos will do will let him test the open market, and they'll just see. This happened with Shelby Harris a few years ago. They were like, hey, listen, Shelby, if you can find something better, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the injuries are with Dalton too. So yeah, I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. I mean, you may have a situation where of that offensive line today, the only returning player may be Quinn Miners. How about that? Of the six guys, since Quinn Bailey went in, maybe Quinn comes back as like a backup, but of the five main guys that started this game, only one, Quinn Miners, is likely to return.
James actually pointed out during halftime. Oh, there it is, the TikTok.
Wow.
How are you not stressed knowing you could have to pack up your entire house and move to a new state in a few months? Boom, there it is. Way to go, Jake, on the back end, hitting the TikTok even.
So what did she say again? What was she saying?
How are you not stressed knowing you still have to pack up your entire house and move to a new state in a few months?
I get it, man.
She had a little bit of grammar issues in there, but so do I all the time, so I can't judge her too much.
I would suggest to her to, your husband makes millions of dollars, pay movers. But I would pay somebody to pack all this. Listen, I've moved by the way, cry me a river. I mean, we've all moved. Okay. So I got it.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah. Welcome to life. You have to move.
I'm sure they'll be fine. Going back to the point though.
Listen,
James pointed out Graham Glasgow just has this horrible, I don't know, energy around him. Like, even when he's on the sideline, it just doesn't seem like he really cares. I feel like we saw a lot of players today who just seemed like they really cared and they really showed up, but he was just not one of them.
Oh my God. Graham Glasgow has checked out a long time ago. They made a big emphasis about wait and see us pick guys up, Russ up, and there's Quinn Miners and he picked him up. And I don't know who else picked up Russ. Listen,
Mark Schlereth,
General Jerry Lee Rosburg, Rachel, he did what he needed to do. His battlement still lost, but they put up a good fight. They took down a bunch of soldiers as they went down in defeat and gathered around the ashes and the smoke and the fires of a lot of letters that he'll have to write home to dearest mother, laid a valiant victory that will tell the tale. And,
what grade do you give Jerry, or what'd you call him, General Jerry Rosburg?
General Jerry Lee Rosburg. And the Battle of Finn and Sharpsburg. I give him an A+. I give him an A+. They needed things to be better. They needed to have a competitive effort. I think he set the right tone. He put him in pads on Thursday. He, showed a lot of trust in Russ. He fired Dwayne Stukes and Butch Barry. He changed the play calling to Outen. And this was a way more competitive game. and they
Mhm.
didn't give up, and they did battle for each other. So
Agreed.
Jerry Rosburg, as far as I'm concerned, gets an A+.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, Daniel said gave Jerry a D minus, and somebody else said D Wolf said just don't get embarrassed. Well, they did that. Whoa there! I don't think this was an embarrassment. Christmas Day was an embarrassment. Everybody, I wouldn't say today was though.
An embarrassment. You
Yeah,
had the lead in the fourth quarter.
right.
I mean, you're doing all right. You
Let's
know,
remember the record for this season, everybody. I know we're not celebrating moral victories over here, but let's just remember the record. The Broncos lose their 9th one-score game of the season, the most in team history, surpassing the 8 in 1999. That ties for the most in NFL history, the 18th time that has happened. Oh my goodness, DMac. That's killer.
yeah, they're a 4-12 team, and they'll have the luxury of trying to get one more win or whatever, and we'll see what matters, Rachel, with the playoffs. I'm not quite up to speed, like what matters and what doesn't matter for the Chargers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think Broncos fans who are thinking about or planning on going to the game next weekend should be encouraged. I think they'll see a team that will be fighting hard. And, I mean, the Chargers are a better team. The Chiefs are a much better team. You see what the Chiefs' problem is going to be, though, in the playoffs is their turnovers are, I mean, ridiculous. I mean, they do dumb things. And I'll tell you this. Let's give credit where credit's due. Justin Simmons, that interception in the end zone, well timed, caught the ball, huge play. I mean,
he read the play perfectly.
Huge play.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, Rachel, I don't know about you, about the interception he made over in England.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he timed it perfectly. That was so impressive. And honestly, if they would have won, you almost have to give him like the game ball, because I feel like if they would have scored on that drive, that it would have been over. Like there would have been no close game. The Broncos would not have had a lead. Like it would have just been a done deal.
Yeah, good for Justin Simmons. He's had a great year. If he didn't miss so many games, he would have been a slam dunk first team Pro Bowl player, no doubt, because he probably would have had another interception or two. 6 interceptions on the year is absolutely fantastic. I know he's an alternate, so maybe he gets to go and play and that whole thing. But hey, good for Justin Simmons. He yelled at Mike Kliss. He played great on the field. So, I mean, good for Justin. Other than that, let me look at Kelsey real quick. Kelsey, 10 targets, 7 catches, Rachel, 43 yards. I mean, you kept him in check.
You shut down Travis Kelce. That's not bad.
Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 catches. That's it. I mean, they do spread it out. Holy cow. How about Patrick Mahomes completing a pass to himself? That's a ride.
The most insane thing. Like you just watch every single game and something's going to happen where you just shake your head and you're like, what did I just see?
Rachel, he completed passes to 11, 10 different players, and then 1 to himself. So there were 11, and he had positive yards, 6 yards on it.
And Juju was their leading receiver this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they did all right, Rach. They really did. They did okay.
It was okay. So I know everybody's saying, well, like, oh, what if Jerry would have won? And, we entertained the topic earlier this week on Coffee Break. If he would have won this game or would have won the next 2, what would happen? Like, could he possibly be a candidate to be a head coach? All of us said it's very, very, very unlikely. But how about special teams coordinator for another team in the NFL or even for the Broncos? How much do you entertain that idea?
Well, he did it for 19 years with the Ravens. The problem with this, Rachel, he didn't move here. He's been living in a hotel this entire time. He's got a wife. He has other things going on. So it would have to be, I don't know, man. It would have to be something more. But would I like to see Jerry Rosburg part of this organization moving forward? Hell yeah, I would. Yeah, damn right I would. And I mean, if you could, I don't know, man, if you could convince him to be the special teams assistant coach, special teams coach, assistant coach, sure, Rach, I'd take that. Sign me up. But let's not get it.
Do you think Kendall Hinton should be running punts back all year?
They should have made a lot of changes. So yes, I mean, when I asked Wayne Stoops about like making a change, and he says who, and I say Patrick Surtain, and then Stoops makes fun of me, but then he says, well, if it's a guy like Kendall Hinton, maybe. So it wasn't like they weren't thinking about it. the irony is they made a special teams mistake on the kickoff. Marlon Mack, 6 yards deep, returns the ball for an 8-yard loss, and then he hurts his hamstring. He has a hamstring issue. So, I mean, it was ironic that the first play of the entire game was actually a special teams mistake, but that was it. And they got a great special teams play on a fumble. They forced a fumble, which was huge. It led to the Broncos' first touchdown, one of 2 rushing touchdowns by Russell Wilson. So the special teams was great. Brandon McManus hit his field goal. Brandon McManus wasn't pussyfooting around. He just knocked the ball through the end zone, so you don't have to worry about kickoffs. No, Rach, it was better. And you didn't get burned on special teams. It didn't cost you anything. And Corliss Waitman, I'm going to guess, did all right punting. Hold on one second. He had 5 punts. Rachel, he averaged 51.4 yards per punt for his 5 punts. What? That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Okay, so Jerry Rosburg made the right move by getting rid of Dwayne Stukes.
Yes.
Putting Montreal Washington on the inactives list. What about Alberto and his usage of him?
Well, he had a touchdown, which was fantastic. He also dropped a pass that was terrible.
Yeah.
He had 3 catches for 45 yards, a touchdown, along with 25 on 6 targets, 1 drop. That hurt you, but it did show you how he could be used. So again, another really frustrating moment. It's like, I got it. Alberto's in the game. He's not blocking anybody. Yeah. But so what? He's a mismatch, and he was absolutely underused. And Andrew Beck caught 2. Salberg caught 3. So Rachel, you had 8 catches. 8 catches from your tight ends.
Yep.
8 catches from your tight ends. And hold on a second. You had Edmonds had 3, so that's 11. So you had 11 catches of the 26 passes from running backs or tight ends. Rachel, that is a more conservative sort of just move the ball around approach. And then Cortland had 4, which is the most he's probably had in a minute. Jerry Jeudy had 7 catches on 11 targets, again, proving he's the number 1 guy. So,
but you know what I actually loved today? Here. I loved the fact that we saw a fired up Cortland Sutton. Multiple times we saw a fired up Cortland Sutton, which is something I feel like we haven't seen. Nobody talks about him being a dog. He went out there. I mean, he was yelling at the refs multiple times. Like, I like that. Like, I feel like you want your wide receivers to go out there and be a leader. And we saw Jerry Jeudy go on Twitter and talk about Russell Wilson, him being a leader there and protecting his QB. I like that Cortland Sutton also went out there today on the field and he had his other receivers' backs. Those are the small things I appreciate.
Can you imagine if they made this coaching change when they should have at the bye week, when we all talked about it?
I know.
You really may be talking about the Broncos contending for the playoffs.
I know. Isn't that crazy to even think about? I'm not saying everything would be fixed and Russell Wilson probably still would have some bad games, but we would definitely not be in this position, I don't believe.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Rachel, Russ was 26 of 38 for 222. He only averaged 5.8 per reception, but he did run the ball and make the defense contend.
Yeah.
Got hit a lot. And so we had some interesting reports earlier today. We had reports that Russell Wilson is open, according to Ian Rappaport, towards changing everything.
Yep.
And we also had the report from Adam Schefter. The Broncos are likely to be here it comes. Here it comes. And it's going to come to Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh, one of the two. And you can interview both of those guys starting tomorrow.
Yep. Quick question. Well, let's talk about Jim Harbaugh real quick. Was it worse or better for the Broncos, the fact that they lost to TCU yesterday? Great game, by the way. Crazy game. But do you think that Jim Harbaugh wants to finish out things in Michigan, or do you really think it's all about the money?
Yeah, great. So that's a great question. It's Jim Harbaugh. You just really never know. It's not like he's not wealthy. Of course he is.
Yep.
It's tough to really wrap your head around that kind of wealth that could be coming down the pipe. But I just read today, Elon Musk is the first human being to lose $200 billion. So I don't know. Yeah.
200 million or billion?
200 billion.
Wow. Well, I guess that's what happens when you buy Twitter.
I guess so. So I don't know. I mean,
Do you
it'll
think
be an
he'll take
interesting
the interview
decision.
for sure, don't you think?
I think he would be insane not to interview.
I
I mean,
agree.
you at least have to see what's what and put
Mhm.
your cards on the table.
Yep.
Same for Sean Payton. So I think it's ultimately good.
Mhm.
It was silly reading some social media about like, Jim Harbaugh blew his chance because they lost the game. I like, what are you nuts? Jim
Mhm.
Harbaugh didn't have to write a resume. It's already written. Okay, so no, that meant nothing. It's good. You can just get a jump on things. So that's
Mhm.
good. I mean, Rachel, it's not insane. It is not crazy to think you could have a new head coach for the Denver Broncos hired by the next home game. I mean, you got to do some work. You got to do the interviews that would satisfy the Rooney Rule, of course. But really, if you're going to throw a lot of money at somebody, there's only two people. There's
Yeah.
only two people that justify, if the reporting is true, some sort of, world breaking
Mhm.
contract. Two.
Yeah.
That's it.
What do you think that contract even looks like?
Um, I would guess somewhere like 10 years, 200 million and up.
10 years?
Yeah. Well, that's what Gruden got. Gruden got a 10-year, $100 million deal. So
Oh.
my guess is that
But, like,
whoever
look at
gets
how
the
well
next.
that worked out.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could. Hey, listen, you can always be blown out for whatever reason. There's always
Mm.
clauses in contracts that would escape you. You would lose money if you act like a complete
Mhm.
idiot. But there's nothing in Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh's past to indicate that would be the case. So I'm fairly certain that both those guys would be good citizens.
Mhm.
That's what we didn't know about John Harbaugh is what kind of person he was, and that
Mhm.
cost him his job and got him canceled, and that's the end of John Gruden. I don't see where that exists with Jim Harbaugh or Sean Payton, unless there's something I don't know. I mean, I guess you got to look into it, but I would assume it'll be something along those lines. Rachel, it'll be something that ensures that they're not necessarily tied to Russell Wilson. It'll be
Mhm.
something that says, okay, you have to deal with everything, Russ, but you're not tied to him. Whereas
Mhm.
Hackett was obviously foolishly completely tied to him.
What odds would you give Evero as head coach?
Zero.
You don't think at all? They
Not for
said
the
they're gonna interview
Broncos.
him.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll interview him, but
Okay, say Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh say, "Nope, we're not doing it."
Dan Quinn probably.
Okay. He's number 3, you think?
Yeah, they got to go with somebody, Rachel, who's had head coaching experience. The end.
That's true.
It's as simple as that. It's nothing against Coach Evero. It's just what they've said. It's what they believe. It's what they're going to do.
Mhm.
I gotta admit, I'm sitting here on pins and needles. I cannot wait for the Rosburg address after this game today. I mean, I want the patriotic Civil War music playing as he addresses, what happened on the battlefield today. And hey, listen, man, that dude had a good week. Good for him. That dude had a good week. He
He
is going to
left
get
his
a
mark,
he is going to get a lot of praise after this game.
as he should.
There's going to be a lot of "I told you so" about Russell Wilson people out there.
Mhm.
They're, here's the problem, Rachel. You don't need to spend $250 million on a quarterback to operate that type of offense, Rachel. I mean, you really seriously can get virtually any quarterback to
Mhm.
run that type of offense. And here's the problem with that type of offense, because we saw it with Tebow. Defenses catch up. And the
Mhm.
Chiefs did a little bit too. You just have kind of a mush Russ. You're not quite so aggressive, and you just give a little bit more of a cushion. You
Mhm.
basically dare them to push the ball down the field. And then
Yeah.
eventually, like Tebow, you get turnovers. The only reason an offense like that works, Rachel, like if the Broncos had Justin Fields running that offense, dude, that
How
would
did
be
the Bears do today?
they got smoked. They're a bad team. But Rachel, don't forget they've got draft picks and they've got like over $100 million under the salary cap.
Mhm.
I mean, they can get better like that.
Mhm.
And they can design an offense with Justin Fields that, I mean, I'm telling you, Justin Fields on the Broncos wins that game today. He wins that game.
You
Crazy,
think?
right? Yeah, I mean, he's just a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, period. But it's not like you can't figure some things out with
Mhm.
Russell Wilson. It's not like you can't figure some things out. Broncos got a little lucky, man, on a 4th down. They got a hands to the face penalty that gave them a 1st down. Other than that, they don't get that touchdown, Rachel. And the final score is 27-17, or perhaps even 34-17 if the Chiefs would have had plenty of time and had the ball in good field position, got another touchdown. Mm-hmm. So let's just keep some things in perspective while we get excited that it wasn't nearly the blowout loss that was expected.
Mm-hmm. I'm loving seeing the comments. People saying DMac and Justin Fields with laughing faces. This is the first time in a long time not watching a Bronco game, but after today, I'll keep on watching. Just needed a break. Denver Broncos for life. Like this win, what feels like a win, right? This game, I feel like really gave a breath of fresh air to Broncos fans that we all just need to take a big, deep breath and breathe it out, because next season there's hope. Broncos interim head coach Jerry Rosburg, I'm heartbroken for them because there are a number of guys who unequivocally bought in and sold out. Oh, that's a good point. There's a lot of jobs on the line for these players, DMac.
Yeah. A lot of these guys will never be Denver Broncos again, that's for sure. Yeah. Hey, a nice cornerback addition to the Broncos appears to be Lamar Jackson. Big, tall corner, comes in relief and plays awful well. So, I mean, there are all sorts of nice little moments for this Denver Broncos team. I am not even upset that they allowed 4 touchdown drives to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not, Rachel. Mm-hmm. They had multiple 3-and-outs, including 3 3-and-outs to start the second half.
Yep.
I didn't know if the Chiefs were going to punt today at all.
What's your odds for the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl?
Not good.
I agree, and there's so many people that are out here thinking that they will. Trust me, I know I will never, ever, bet against Patrick Mahomes and crazy stuff that he can do, but I just think that they're missing some chemistry that other teams in the NFL have.
Yeah, I mean, you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, it was jaw-dropping. His record is something like 63-19. I mean, something ridiculous like that. He's undefeated against the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. As a starter.
They've got the second best odds to the Bills. And Jake on the back end, he did some things that were popular, I believe, for the last time that the Broncos got a win against Kansas City. I'm interested to see this list. Okay. 2015, I guess defenses really do win games. Darren McKee, unreal. Broncos will walk away with their most remarkable wins.
When
Broncos
was that?
will walk away with their most remarkable wins. How about this, D? Well, we all have struggle putting out words sometimes. You know what I mean, DMac?
That was in 2015?
Yep. 2015, September 17th. Look at you and I. Holy smokes. We're throwing it back here in Postgame Live.
I still have my beautiful green jacket at the top of Imperial Challenge on the summit of Breckenridge, even back in 2015. So I'm rocking the green jacket.
It does. Burn.
Listen,
it stings.
I guess I should consider myself lucky that I've been around. I was around, Rachel, when they used to own the Chiefs. I mean, I know that seems like a long time ago, but there was a time. But
okay, you ready?
They've lost 15 times in a row.
Yeah, I know. What do you mean by Justin Bieber was the #1 song in the country at the time? And guess how much gas was?
2015?
Yep.
Well, it's got to be Baby, 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 I would assume.
But no, guess how much gas was?
Gas in 2015 was probably $1.50, something like that.
$2.22 a gallon. What I would kill to have that. My gosh, what I would kill. Okay, well, you guys, Jerry Rosburg, he's known to be a talker, so he's probably talking with the team. Hopefully we'll come out. We'll have all the best info that you need to know at DenverFan.com. Keep checking it out. DMac, you got any plans tonight? New Year's plans?
I'm going to the Nuggets Celtics game.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Well, I'll be excited to sit down, chat with you and James Marilat tomorrow morning on Coffee Break, 10:30 a.m. Come hang out with us. I'm about to go do a 7.5-hour drive back to Colorado before the snow gets here. Wish me luck, everybody. Come hang out with me on Instagram. I think I might do like a Ask Me Anything type thing because I'm going to have some entertainment. So everybody, we'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Coffee Break. Come hang out with us. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody, and Happy New Year. Bye.